Hi there, it's John Paulus. You're listening to Life's Potluck Buffet, and today is part 2 of Worksheet 6. What's the opposite of a grudge? So stick around and find out, in a good sense. So yesterday, I filled in my left-hand side of Worksheet 6, naming 3 traits of grudges in my mind, and those were bitterness, resentment, and then I wrote unforgiving. That's another trait, the final trait. That was a hard one to think about because it's unforgiving. Yeah, I guess that's the right word. I want to say unforgiven, but that's not the same thing. So unforgiving is what we have. All right, so let's get to doing the opposites of these. All right, so bitterness. Bitterness. What do we think of with bitter? Oh, so let me choose a color I'm going to choose something that's closer to the magenta. You see, I've written the 3. I think it needs to be a little bit darker. So I've written the 3. I'm going to choose this. I'll move the color wheel over so you can see this. I'm writing the 3 on the left-hand side in a kind of faded out pink color, a faded out magenta, let's say, because I'm wondering if we're going to be able to make that disappear by staring at the E. On yesterday's episode, I talked about how the worksheet about finding your hidden work had a little optical illusion on it where the Troxler effect is in effect. The Troxler effect in effect. Well, I was talking about rap albums the other day. Maybe the Troxler effect in effect is the name of the rap album I'm looking for. Troxler in effect. That doesn't sound great, but maybe it will if I say it enough. Okay, so the Troxler effect is when something that is not in your it has to do with focus and but not, it has to do with the way your brain works, and we'll focus on something like the blue dot on that other worksheet, or say a darker letter like the E in grudge on this worksheet, and it will make the lighter things on the periphery disappear because they're like out of your focus for some reason. Again, head to Wikipedia, look up Troxler, Troxler effect. That's the place you could find out about why that actually happens better. Or maybe there's another, if you know another article or something that explains it better than that, just drop that in the comments so that we can read that. But the idea here is that the bitterness, resentment, unforgiving, and all of that part will disappear in the same way that the grudge disappears in this worksheet by doing the opposite, or by knowing what the opposite of a grudge is. And right now I'm staring at the E to see if it'll start to disappear. I don't know. So far, I think you need about 20 seconds. That's what I put on the worksheet. Anyway, I'll try it later. Okay, so let me choose a color for the opposite of these grudge words. I'm trying to make it kind of close to the magenta. It's looking pretty red on the screen. Okay, this magenta ink is looking less red, but we'll find out in a second. Okay, so what's the opposite of bitterness? I can only think of food terms. I think of, oh yeah, it's a different color. That's all right. I'm going to say sweetness. I thought of coffee and chocolate, things that are bitter. And to me, the opposite of bitterness is sweetness. What else am I thinking here? Okay, I'll keep it as sweetness. All right. So a grudge is bitter, but not a grudge. The opposite of a grudge is has a sweetness to it. Okay, so I have sweetness is the opposite of bitterness. All right, let me go to the second one, resentment. What is the opposite of resentment? Accepting? It's more than accepting. Acceptance. All right, I'm going to write acceptance. But I'm going to write acceptance plus. I think it's more than acceptance. When you resent something, the opposite would be like welcome it. Okay, so I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to say that's welcome. I'm going to write that above acceptance plus. What is acceptance plus a name for? Truth be told, it sounds like a dental insurance plan. Oh, I have acceptance plus. Yeah, no, I think these fillings are covered. And then finally, unforgiving. So, unforgiving. Well, clearly forgiving is the opposite of that, I think, to me. But it has to, yeah. Okay, I'll just write for what is there something slightly beyond forgiving? Because that unforgiving is just it's a brutal thing, right? And then it's like, what's the opposite of that? It has to be something that's like not just forgiving, but mm, I want to say like promoting almost, like furthering, right? Furthering, right? Because not only, oh, I know, encouraging, right? Because not only are you, I feel like I wrote encouraging before on another worksheet. Oops, just highlighted everything. That seems like a step beyond just forgiving. Not only is there forgiveness there for a situation, but there's like positive encouragement, I'll say positive encouragement as opposed to just the forgiving as a kind of, I don't want to say negative thing. I just mean it's not active. It's an active thing, but you can go one step further, I think, than forgiving in my view of the situation. Okay, so now I have bitterness as the trait of the grudge and sweetness as the opposite, resentment as a trait of a grudge, welcome and acceptance plus, so a kind of welcoming something as opposed to resenting, and then unforgiving as the trait of a grudge, and then the positive version here is the positive encouragement. So it's not just forgiving, but it's like going one step further and positively encouraging, right? All right, positively, I'm going to add ly there. Okay. Positively encouraging. I'm going to change encouragement to encouraging. Positively encouraging. Okay. And I'm erasing the meant part of encouragement just so I can, and some dots that I've left along the way. Okay, so positively encouraging. All right, so now all of these together, we can consider what is the opposite of a grudge? What is sweetness, welcome, acceptance, positively encouraging? Well, the opposite of a grudge is, to me, letting go. I'm write this on the top. And then there's one more feeling. That's the letting go part is the first step. I think that was like the forgiving, right? That's the first step. And then there's that encouraging. It's like you go one step further. So I think we need to go to one step further than letting go. But that further is flourishing. Flourishing. I'm writing flourishing now on the top here. All right, flourishing. So then we have the opposite of a grudge is letting go. It's flourishing. It's that liberation thing, you know? I'm going to write liberation here. So I really think what we have going on is something that is related to the good ghost phenomenon in K-drama. So what happens when we let go of that grudge, of that bitterness, of that resentment, of that unforgiving and strife-filled existence? We're like the ghost with the grudge in the K-dramas. What happens when we let go of that is that we flourish. So the opposite of a grudge, to me, is flourishing. What is the opposite of a grudge for you? Give worksheet 6 a try and find out. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time on Life's Potluck Buffet. Jokes are in effect.